Hello, my name is Catherine Hawes, and I would like us to take the next few minutes to talk about how you can fulfill your dream of holding your book in your hands without traditional publishing. So you're dreaming of holding your book. What a beautiful dream. I have often dreamed of this myself. And the first little book I made was folded over pieces of paper, and I stapled it together and drew on it with a crayon when I was 5. And so that was the first of my books that I held in my hands. But there is just something about having your book in print, right? Okay, I would like us to first talk about why this dream is important to you, finding your priorities with this dream, and then looking at different options for fulfilling this dream. And I want us to talk about this because if the dream is just floating in your head, it's never going to happen. So we have to make a plan to bring it to fruition. So step 1, we're going to define priorities and be honest. So I have some questions that I'm going to ask you, and pause the video to write these out or discuss them with a trusted friend. And don't skip on this part. Defining your priorities will help you choose the best route to take. Why do you want to hold your book in your hands? Take some time to sit with this question and be honest with yourself. Then be as specific as possible as you're answering this question. You can blush and gush and go all out on why this dream is important to you, and this is the time to do that. It's an honorable dream. So the question is, why do you want this dream to come true? We have now uncovered the emotional side of why this dream is important to you. And I now want us to put on a different hat, if you will, to become more practical, to plan how to make this happen. Question 2. How many people do you want to read this book? There is no right or wrong answer to this question. It might be just you, or it might be your family and your friends, or it might be the whole world. And don't think, well, I should say, no. This is your honest desire of how many people do you want to read your book. There is no shame in wanting to be the only one to read your book, and there is no shame in wanting the whole globe to read your book. So the question is, how many people do you want to read your book? And question 3, if you want more people than just yourself to read this book, are you going to charge people for the book? The moment money comes up, lots of feelings might arise, and we could deep dive and make a spreadsheet and go all out, or you can just answer this as a yes or no question. So the question is, are you expecting to sell your book? Question 3, what is your timeline? Is it tomorrow, 3 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? If you are hoping to do this tomorrow, then you better get hopping on it today, and we'll probably be like hopping into Staples and just getting it printed out, but we'll get to that in a minute. The thing about planning is that more often than not, it always takes longer than you hope it will. So can we just accept that 95% of the time the process will be longer than we hope? So say it with me. This process may take longer than I think it will. Let's just accept it now. All right. Your timeline will be affected by your budget, and we'll get into that in a minute. And your timeline will also be affected by the hold book in my hands option that you choose. So the question is, when do you hope to hold your book in your hands? Question 4, what do you mean by book? You might think this is a silly question, but your definition of what holding a book in your hands feels like will determine a lot of other factors. So close your eyes with me and imagine holding your book in your hands. Oh, it's such a good feeling. Okay, now let's think about it. Is it a Kindle ebook? Is it a paperback? Is it a hardback? Is it a stack of papers wrapped in brown wrapping paper with twine? I want you to think about this and be aware that your holding your book in your hands dream might feel off kilter if in your little heart of hearts you're really hoping that it's a hardcover and then you publish a Kindle ebook. You might feel that it's very different, and I want you to acknowledge that. Or you might be thinking, that is the silliest thing I've ever heard. I don't care if it's like printed on a napkin that's got coffee stains on it. I just want to hold this thing in my hands whatever way possible. I don't care. So the question is, what kind of book do you want to be holding? Question 5. What is your budget? None of these options will be free. Well, the only free option would be if you find a notebook like in the trash and then you handwrite it with a pencil. That will be the one free option of holding your book in your hands. All of these other options that we're going to talk about today do require some investment on your part. And it's your choice what that investment is. I don't want you to be shocked and play the victim by seeing what some of these options may cost. I also don't want you to go into debt or get swindled. And I don't want you to plan on selling 1 million copies, buy a yacht, and then be surprised when you sell 100 copies. Please read a business book before you just go out and buy a yacht. Business Made Simple is a good one. Business department. Also, if you are choosing to sell your book to people, you're choosing to start a business. I want you to look at your priorities and look at what you can afford and make the best choice for your situation with rationality and without panic or resentment. So the question is, how much money are you willing to spend to hold your book in your hands? Congratulations! You have just decided some priorities that will help you determine your next steps. Now we're going to look at some options for how to hold your book in your hands. Some of these methods are ones that I personally have done, and then other ones I have not done, but I want to tell you about them just so that you know they exist. So number 1 is going to a print shop and printing out your book. That is what I chose to do for my first novel that I wrote in high school. I went to Staples and got it printed and spiral bound with a black plastic back cover and a clear plastic front cover. If you're prioritizing low effort, speed, low cost, then this might be the option for you. Another option is making a photo book. I made a couple hardcover children's books for friends of mine, and they were really special gifts for their baby showers. And so you can choose different sizes, and I liked hardcover. You can also do paperbacks, and this would be a good option for having a personal copy or copies for friends and family. I have used Shutterfly. There are also companies like Snapfish and mixed books that can be options as well. And a helpful tip is to look for sales around the holidays. The next is print on demand. That is the option that I chose for. I did not choose this adventure. The startup costs for me in this method were hiring Harpley, my illustrator, Megan, my editor, and my person that helped me format the interior for uploading it. So I used Lulu, and uploading it to publish on Lulu is free, and then every time it is printed, some of the proceeds go to them for the printing and distributing, and then the rest come to me. Ingram Spark, Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, Lulu, these are just some of many options for print on demand. And print on demand means that books are only printed if they are bought. Next are some options that I have not personally tried, but they do exist. Vanity publishing. Vanity publishing is when you pay this vanity publisher to print and edit and make a cover for you, and then buy a specified quantity of books that then come to you. Some of these fees can add up to like anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000, and you are responsible for selling and distributing the copies that you have sitting in the back of your car. If you're considering this option, I want you to understand that vanity publishers have a reputation of taking advantage of authors, and some can be predatory. So be very diligent in researching if you're considering something like this. Next is hybrid publishing. Hybrid publishing is like a combination of vanity publishing, self-publishing, and traditional publishing, where the hybrid publisher and the author share costs for printing and distributing the book. And then last are ebooks. Kindle Direct Publishing or Draft to Digital are ways to upload a digital copy of your book to be read on things like Kindles. There are a ton of other resources on YouTube, and the Readsy blog for like how-tos or comparing different companies, like comparing Ingram Spark to Kindle Direct Publishing. And if you know of other options, please let me know in the comments so that we can help each other out. Ultimately, the choice is yours for how you want to accomplish holding your book in your hands. I want you to feel empowered to make your own choice for your own unique situation. I hope that this was a helpful exercise in finding your priorities and then looking at different options that best suit your needs. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'm Catherine, and on this channel we write together and talk about writing together. So I would greatly appreciate if you joined me. I hope that you have a lovely day. Ciao for now. Okay, enough of that.